This is on Tilt Trading. Let's review the trades I am currently live in. Right now, I'm currently live in 5 positions. One in Cosmos, which is on display right here. The other positions are Avalanche, Injective, Chainlink, and Stellar. So, all right, we're up first. We have Cosmos. We'll see Cosmos took the Cosmos trade right here. Just for reference, this area is for candlesticks. This area here is a volume profile. These vertical bars in gray. And then down here in the blue, this section, this is a relative strength index. You can see this purple line here, and this is the 1 minute. This purple line here coincides with this purple line, or coincides with this purple line here on the 15-minute. So this line is S3. This is support 3 in the Camarilla pivot points, and my trading system is based off of Camarilla pivots, and this particular trade is an S3 to R3 traverse. If it works out, it could fail. So I took my entry here. We'll zoom in for more detail. So what I liked about this trade is 3 things. So number one, on the RSI, on the relative strength index, we're oversold. At the same time, if you see these vertical bars that are right here, these are volume bars, and you can see that they are much higher than any other volume that's near them at this Camarilla pivot. So high volume, high amount of transactions being taking place, or high volume of transactions being taken place of the currency pair right at this price level. And then also this isolated pivot low candlestick pattern. These typically will appear on your charts when there's a change of direction. For example, here is an isolated pivot that took an uptrend into a downtrend. But there's low volume, so I'm not a big fan of it. But there is overbought condition. So 2 out of the 3 criteria for interest are being met here. But this would be out of position for this particular trade. There's a few things wrong here, but this is just an example of not everything that you see that meets any of these criteria automatically. It's good to trade. There may be other factors at play. So after entry, got a clean entry. I happened to be scanning, and found this one right after it made contact. So this was not my preferred entry, but it's probably the best entry I've had today. We had some consolidation, held support, and you can see we're able to make some headway towards R3, but are currently selling off, and I may hit my protective stop. I moved my stop up to here, so we're approaching it. So we'll see what happens here. And we are currently in an oversold condition on RSI. So if there's going to be, or if this currency pair Cosmos is going to recover and head towards, back towards R3 here. Now would be a really good place for that to happen. And just for perspective here on the 15-minute, you can see my profit target. Okay, so I've moved my stop up to here to protect any potential profits once it gets past this technical level. And also take profits is right here. You can't actually, you can see what my take profit is here. Stop losses here. Next up we have Avalanche. Avalanche took me a couple of tries to get in, along with some other currency pairs today. So took an entry here, or here's the issue with this. This price action is a bit of a mess. I was late getting to it, and was trying to time an entry, but didn't really like what I was seeing anywhere. Let's see. This is actually where I would want to enter here. You can see we're oversold. You can see we have a high volume profile, and we're putting in some type of pivot here. This is the actual isolated pivot here, or at least a bit cleaner. This one looks, this one has longer bars, so it's a little bit different there. But these three conditions being met, being late to find the trade, also in this particular situation, when I put the Camarilla pivot lines, the price lines onto the chart, sometimes the 1 minute chart is too small, so I have to scale out into a larger chart in order to get my lines onto the screen. So for this particular currency pair, for Avalanche, I was actually on the 5 minute chart instead of the 1 minute chart. So this really threw off my entries, trading off the 5 minute, thinking that it was a 1 minute. So I got chopped up right in here pretty good. And by the time I realized I had the 5 minute on, I got to see what I had actually done and see that I had made a mess of my entry. Took the second entry right here, made the exit right here, stopped out, and then we have these conditions being met again, where we're having oversold conditions. We have above average volume profile, and then we don't have, or actually here, these three candles. These three candles here form a pivot low right here. So we have the conditions being met. So I take the trade here. And we can see that price action has been, or at least buyers have been in control of the price action up until recently. And now it seems like here were some oversold conditions and buyers are taking the price back higher. And then for perspective here, this is S3, this is R3, and this trade is the S3 to R3 traverse. If it works out, we'll see what happens. Seems like we may be getting some continuation. We've got a very narrow range of consolidation happening in price action here. If we can break out of this range and buyers take control, we may get another leg up or two. We'll see what happens. Next up, injective. Took a couple of tries to get into injective. Oversold conditions, above average volume profile, isolated pivot low. The problem here is, well, here we have oversold conditions. So this could work for this particular area, but we have average volume. Also, there's no isolated pivot that's here. I was scanning for a trade. This was the first thing that I saw. It was right here at S3. When I took a look at the daily RSI, I liked it for long. And typically when I start a trading session, I come in a little hot, and this is an example of coming in hot and it costing. So I was able to get it together and regain a better position at the correct entry point. We can see we were able to take the price action above S3, sold off before, tested this level, and then was able to get some momentum from buyers. It was in this sell-off here that everything's been experiencing here in the market. We've got some consolidation in this range. It seems like we're recovering from some oversold conditions and may be able to make the move higher. And just for perspective, down here on the 15-minute, you can see here's my take profit here, up here at R3, if this one works out. Next up, chain link. Took a couple of tries on chain link. First entry here. I was chasing this one because this was actually my ideal entry. So oversold conditions, spike in volume, high volume profile, and these two candles here putting in a double bottom, which would also or at least putting in a double bottom here, which would act like an isolated pivot, and we can see the change in direction here. I had risk to reward, so when I finally got fully set up to take the trade, the price action was in this area. I had proper risk to reward, but I was looking at the RSI right here and anticipating pullback, but it didn't come until much later. So I was chasing this entry because it seemed like it was about to break out from this level. So I chased this entry, get stopped out here, and retake the entry right here. And we can see support's been holding above S3. Same thing with this sell-off, and it seems like we're consolidating, possibly accumulating for another leg up. We'll see what happens. And then last up we have Stellar. Stellar again trying to time a late entry. Stellar, ideally, I am getting into stellar right here. Oversold conditions, not the highest volume profile, but definitely a spike in volume, contact with the pivot here, and then this isolated pivot low here. That would be my ideal entry. Next would be this pullback here. But when I was late to catch it, so I wound up again seeing that it's breaking out from this level. Chased it with this entry, stopped out here at this candle, and then regained or took another entry as it found support here after this candle. Support at S3 held, able to make a nice run to a higher price level. Again, this sell-off is market wide. Back to my entry, we're here consolidating. We're in some oversold conditions, so we'll see what happens. This is looking, price action wise, looking pretty flat. It's oversold, so it's ready to buy, but there's declining volume. So we'll see. This thing could pick up and turn around and be the first thing to hit target, or this thing could fail before this video is over. So we'll see what happens. We'll come down to the 15-minute chart for some perspective, and you can see my profit target is up here. Is this R3? This for the traverse, but we'll see what happens. All right, this is On Tilt Trading. See you next time.